The other day, me and my roommates were walking down the street. We were all hungover, and this like Twinkie gay guy was walking by us, and then he started talking, and he was like, "It's so bright today," and none of us knew that he was British. And my roommate went,
I'm sorry, British?
I don't know whatever his accent was. Okay. My roommate literally went, "Oh," like the sound of it like made him wince.
I don't do British
so
accents
funny.
on men.
I do, but it was just like, I think it was like not expected, and my roommate went, "Oh,
that's so
good.
tough. I love on men like a Northeastern American accent, like a New Jersey, Boston, New York.
That's like, I've told you, have I ever sent you, did you see, I posted it on Friends Only on TikTok. There's like a TikTok of this guy from Boston who's like, has this TikTok about how to pour the perfect Guinness. And I think it is like the most like sexual video I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, you have
I'll
to
send it to you.
me.
It's like,
I would be so turned on
it's
by
like,
that.
it's like, no, you'll literally have to go home. Like, it's insane. Like, it's insane.
I found a video. I was scrolling on TikTok late at night, and I found this edit of Mark Ruffalo, and it's from I found like one of those like weird like stupid edits where they put the music in it.
No, I love those.
But the edit starts with this clip of him on some show. I've never seen it, but he's like I had to like turn off my phone and like lay like with
Wait,
an
what
ice
is he
pack
doing?
on my head. It's like, it's so fucking odd. I've never seen anything like this. He was like, what did he even do? He was like, tell me to stop. No, you don't want me to. You don't want me to stop. I don't know what he was
Was it
doing.
from In the Cut?
I don't know.
With Meg Ryan?
I couldn't tell who he was.
I bet you it was from Meg. I bet you it was from In the Cut. You should watch In the Cut.
Like, no. When I saved it, first of all, and you can see when people, do you ever get a notification like, blah, 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 saved your video to favorites?
Yeah,
like, that's me with every Mark Ruffalo edit.
Wait, you have to watch. Do you know what In the Cut is?
No.
It's like your dream movie. It's Meg Ryan plays, I think she's a writer.
I'm like scared what you're going to say is my dream movie.
Well, because it's like a mixture of Mark Ruffalo. It's an erotic thriller. So it's like Mark Ruffalo. So Meg Ryan is a writer, or she's like an English professor.
Okay.
And there's this like serial killer who's like killing women. And
this is not my dream.
you love true crime.
Okay, fine.
And so it's.
We're not supposed to tell people that. It's supposed to be a secret that
And
I
we've
like
talked
true
about
crime.
it on this podcast.
It goes
multiple
against
times.
like my whole thing. Okay, go ahead.
Right. Okay. Anyway, so she's like, she becomes like a target of this killer, and Mark Ruffalo is the cop who's like I think he's like the detective who's like investigating it, and then they start having like really hot sex, but also she thinks he might be the killer. You have to watch it. It's like he shows dick.
Ooh. He shows his penis?
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo famously shows dick in it.
Is it good? Is it a good penis?
It is cut. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
It's cut?
I mean, it's not like porn. It's not like rock hard, but like if you're like horny for Mark Ruffalo, like you have to watch In the Cut.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it. My favorite penis showing is Jason Segel and Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
So
That's
like
a nice
non-sexual.
penis. I know exactly, and it's so to me so erotic. He's like eating cereal out of a giant aluminum bowl.
Oh my God, your type is so funny.
That's my type.
Oh
But then
my God.
also I run the gamut. Then it's like Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo.
Have you
is
seen the
gorgeous.
movie Now You See Me?
Is
About
that
the magicians?
Yeah.
Incredible movie.
People love that movie.
So underrated. I've
People
never
love that
seen the
movie.
second or third or whatever came after, but the first one is insane. Like
Yeah.
I saw it in theaters like 3 times, I think.
Right, it's like the 4 magician. Yeah.
No,
they like
no,
rob
no.
a bank.
No. Now You See Me Walk So Barbie Could Run. I'm telling you, that is the best movie, and it needed the hype that
People
Barbie
go
got.
up for magician movies because you know what movie people were obsessed with.
Hmm.
Like people were like, I feel like people. You would just go to people's house and be like, "Let's watch this," and I was like, "Again, The Prestige."
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It was people were obsessed. Christopher Nolan movies, like something happens to people. Like I always like complained like in college. When I went to college, like you'd be sitting, I had a bit, and it was true.
Okay.
When I was my freshman year of college, if there was a longer than 20 seconds of silence in a room of people, someone would be like, "Should we watch The Dark Knight?" I was like, "No, no." If it was quieter for longer than 20 seconds, someone would be like, "Should we just watch The Dark Knight?" I'd be like, "Shut the fuck up, no."
Is
But
it
like,
that good?
I mean,
seen it.
I'm not like the biggest Batman. I like the Batman movies, but like
Yeah.
people. Well, my thing is like, that's not the kind of movie I just want to like watch. But
Right.
people, it was constantly on.
Right.
Now I need a
I've
sip of my
seen The Dark
beverage I'm
Knight.
addicted to.
Yeah, you need to do it. We can't get sponsored by them. Actually, I'm sure they do out a lot of money.
A thing I'm dealing with in my life is that I'm addicted to these beverages that
And
I'm
they're
not gonna show
made
the name of, but this is the shape of the bottle, and they are owned by a YouTuber. It is open. Okay, moving on. We don't have to talk about
It's
it.
really embarrassing of you.
It's really embarrassing of me, but they're so good.
They're really good.
They're so good.
Can I have a sip?
Yeah, this is. But do you want the other
Oh,
flavor?
that's the last sip.
No, but do you want the other flavor? I brought two. I brought a
Yeah,
second.
I'll get one after in a second.
Okay, well, I'll go up and I'll get it in a second.
What was I gonna say? Oh, The Dark Knight is really good, but here's my thing with superhero movies. I don't get it. It really makes me mad, like existentially upset at the state of like creativity and the respect we have for creativity in the world. Whenever I see one of these Spider-Man, Batman, whatever, I don't care how artistic or what, like a new take that they're bringing to it, a new director. I don't give a shit. Why can't we come up with a new story? Like, it just reminds me that, like, this will always win over creativity. It's just taking
IP.
the same fucking
IP
thing.
is king. Yeah,
it's just like, it really bugs me. And I get that, like they had to create this weird, like, multiple universes excuse for them to just keep making Spider-Man movies. And it's like, every Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man comes, he defeats the villain, and that's it. And then there's like a little cliffhanger at the end where it's like Spider-Man might have to come back, and next time it might be a different guy. Like, whoever's hot in 5 years, that's gonna be Spider-Man. Like, it's so exhausting to me, and it makes me so upset that I can't even enjoy the movie.
Right.
You know
what
I mean?
sucks is because I love those movies. Like, I'm a big superhero head. They're making the X-Men movie. Like, X-Men is coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I would love to play an X-Men if you're casting X-Men Disney.
I would love to be in one.
But I'm like such an X-Men head. It's insane.
Really?
Oh, I'm like, yeah.
Who's your favorite X-Man?
It really depends on like what era you're talking about. Like, you're talking about the movies or the cartoon or like what version of the comics, because like the characters kind of change within their roles.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I always like. For the girls, I always loved Rogue. I always loved Kitty Pryde.
Right.
Kitty Pryde was huge for me because she was
That
like.
sounds cunty, Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, her powers also. Because the thing is, I think about this a lot with I was like obsessed with like fantasy and sci-fi when I was a kid.
Okay.
So obviously, like, you're constantly thinking like, what would your superpower be, right?
Right, what
and
was
there's
yours?
like, well, it goes back and forth because here's the thing. It's like. You have to, the conversation is like, there's like factors, right? Because it's like, are we talking about being a superhero and you have to like fight supervillains on a day-to-day basis? Because then it's like, okay, cool, like, you know, like shooting lasers or something like that. Like, but it's like, if you're living your day-to-day life and have a superpower, it's like shooting a concussive blast out of your hands that breaks shit is not like practical. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like Kitty Pryde can move through solid matter. So like she can't get locked out of her house. She just like walk through the door.
Got it.
Incredible. Huge for you.
Huge for me.
Could be, you having Kitty Pryde's
That would
power could be
a
really
big
huge
deal
for you.
me. And how old are you?
30.
Got it. Anyway. Moving on.
Absolute drag to hell. Enough. Okay, wait.
No, I get it. Like, I love Harry Potter.
No, what I was trying to say was like, my issue is not with those movies themselves. My issue is that like there's not that Hollywood is not creating space for both.
Right.
That's what sucks.
I understand
I
completely.
hope that changes. I think everything is cyclical. That's what I tell myself to feel okay. So I hope that changes, but who knows?
Yeah.
Wait, what was the other thing we needed to talk? Oh wait, you're going to Fire Island? It has to be the straight part though. I don't think you're going to the gay part.
Yeah. I mean, it could go either way. I'm going with my friend from college who he has a house there. He's from Brooklyn or Queens, I think. But he happened to be like a big rugby player in college.
Oh, cool.
Which to me is like both so straight and so homosexual.
Deeply
at
homosexual
my
at
school,
the same
like
thing.
deeply homosexual of all the sports that were at my school that I got an insider's look at.
Yeah.
That is a very homosexual sport in my opinion.
I actually think it's
So
because
I don't
rugby
know.
players become so physically hot that you cannot deny your homosexual urges at that point.
Like,
I
they
don't think
all
I think
are
if you
so
are
hot.
anywhere past 1 on the Kinsey scale and you're regularly in a
Right.
rugby locker room, you're gonna be like, yeah, I gotta go.
Right.
Like, I think like, you know what I mean? Like, you can stay closeted in a baseball locker room, like you can do that, but like a
Absolutely,
rugby locker
easily.
room, eventually you're like, fuck.
Yeah, they were so hot.
They're so hot.
And just to clarify, the guy that's taking me is straight to my knowledge, but like it just feels like
What
maybe
if you go to Fire Island and find out that when he's there, he's like the biggest gay guy in the world?
that would be funny. No, I think he has a girlfriend actually, and she's coming. So that's gonna be fun. But what was I even saying?
No,
Oh
because
yes, I'm going there.
Because, well, it's funny because I'm going to the straight part of Fire Island the week after.
Okay, so how big is are the straight part and the gay part?
So
next to
Fire
each other?
Island is like a very long, thin island
Right.
that like runs parallel to Long Island.
Okay.
For like not the whole length of it, for part of it.
Right.
And so like the towns are almost like segments of this line. Does that make sense?
Right.
So they like exist in a straight line down the island. So
I
like
see.
the two gay ones are the Pines and Cherry Grove, and there's
Okay.
like a forest between them that you have to walk through that's like
Oh.
not developed. And then the straight towns are like, I think, closer to New York on it. I don't know that it goes maybe it goes both ways. I actually don't know.
Could you walk the entire island in a day? Is it that small?
I don't know how long. I feel like that would be if you did, it would be a long, exhaustive day because you'd be walking on sand, which is tiring, and it's far.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really excited.
No, the beaches are gorgeous, and I feel like every time I'm there,
so I could hypothetically go to the gay area and hang out, even though I'm staying in the straight area.
But you might have to like charter a boat.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it's not like they're like kind of discreet. Like when I go to the straight part, it's like a small town, and we just do it because it's so much cheaper than the gay part. And we're like, the gay part's its own thing, and I love going to the gay part. But then like the straight part is like you can get a really cheap house, especially in September, and the beaches are still gorgeous.
Right.
But you're really going for like the beach and the friends you're going with. You're not going there for like the town or like the community, the festivities. Right. Yeah. There's no. It's really like we go to the beach during the day, we come home, we like cook and play cards. It's a very like grandma vacation, but I love it.
I see. Okay.
Do you like games? Like, are you
no? Hate all games. Okay. I don't do games. I really believe like I am capable of conversation without a game.
Okay, I really resent this argument because I'm very good at conversation.
I know you are, but I just like prefer to have conversation without a game, and I feel that the people who are like really pushing for games like need games.
Well, that's different.
Like are people that can't just talk without a game.
Right, but I think sometimes, especially with like old friends, it's so fun to just be like, let's just like play cards and have drinks and like you chat while playing cards, but it like is just an activity. And like I feel like people, I understand that truly there is nothing more hellish than someone explaining to you the rules of a game. Like I know that. And like learning a game is truly one of the worst things that can happen to a person in their life. But once you know a game, it's like you can play it and it's fun. You know?
It's like as soon as my friends are like, all right, King's Cup, it's time. I'm like, I'm out. Like I actually check out mentally.
Do you like beer pong?
Like I'll like play, but that's not a game. Like that's different. That's like.
Well, that's what. Okay. Well, now we're getting to types of games.
I still would rather like talk and dance than play beer pong.
Totally.
But I just really don't like when everyone's like, okay, gather around everybody. We're going to sit around the table and play a game, a drinking game, a card game, a board game.
Well, also people lose sight of like, people are just like, a lot of people don't have that barometer of how seriously you should be taking the game. Like if we're like loosely playing a game, you know what I mean?
Right, then what's the point of playing the game? It's like then we're having a conversation. We can't actually get into the conversation deeply because we have to keep remembering that it's like, oh, the next person has to go, by the way. Like
right, like at this point in my life, I have no interest in ever playing King's Cup again because that's a game that completely dominates all conversation and paying attention.
It's just
something like beer pong or like this card game me and my friends play all the time, like really, it's called Carol for those who are wondering.
Carol, cool.
Like
check it out.
You can really easily have a conversation while playing it. So it's like it's just like a thing. It's almost like, do you know what it is? It's like the analog OG version of that thing on TikTok where there's a video and then there's another video next to it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like playing a card game while having a conversation is like really scratching all of your brain. Right. That's what it is for me, I think.
Okay. Then we have different types of brains, I think, because it really like takes me out of it. It distracts me. It stresses me out.
No, 100%.
I really just like I've never liked games. I think I'm traumatized also by games, like card games, because I have this, whenever I think of a game, like somebody saying, let's play a game.
Yeah.
I have this very vivid memory. It's like my 7th or 8th birthday, and my birthday's on Christmas Eve.
Yep.
So everything's closed. I've never done anything on my birthday. It's a very depressing day in my life, historically. And my parents are like sitting on the couch. I think my dad was watching football or something. And I was building a house of cards on the floor, on the carpet. And my dad was like, I was like, can we do something? It's literally my birthday. I was having a party another day when my friends were in town, but I always celebrated my birthday on January 7th because that's when the holidays were over. So that's when my birthday was.
Wow, the instruction really almost fucked you up.
What?
Because you almost was January 6th. Like it would have taken
I know. Oh my God. I think you said the instruction. The instruction was about to fuck me. Anyways, so I wasn't having my party yet, but I was like, Dad, can we do something? And he was like, why don't you play solitaire? You should learn solitaire. And that's my memory of my birthday.
Well, that's a really harrowing thing for your father to have done to you on your birthday. That's fucked up.
And I just think that like whenever I think of a game, like when someone's like, why don't you play a little card game? I'm like,
no,
I want to cry.
That is fucked up.
It's,
that
like,
shouldn't
really
have happened to you. That should not have happened to you.
We couldn't have like gone for a walk. Like, because
my family, so I come from like, I think it's also partly because like my dad's side of the family are gamers, like hardcore, like growing up when we would any family function, there was all the women in the family would sit around a table and play poker the whole time. You would bring like a bag of coins from your house.
Fun.
No, it was super fun. And then like
my family's too stupid for that.
My grandma, the one who passed in February, like at all times wanted to play games, like cards, Scrabble. She would sit down. She would be like, I have memories of like being 5 years old, and my grandma, who at the time was probably in her like late 60s, 70s, was like, she'd be like, do you want to play Scrabble? And I'd be like, sure. And this woman would not hold back. Like, with the full knowledge of the entire Scrabble dictionary, she would dog walk you on Scrabble. And I was 6, like, learning to read. And it would be like, I like have a memory of her being like, okay, so final score, you have 6 and I have 392. Like, just like decimated by Scrabble. And then the other game, the game they always played in my family, my dad's side of the family, like religiously they all play it, is cribbage, which is like this game with this board and these pegs, but it's a card game. And like every person in my family knows how to play it except me. Like I almost like tie it to my queerness, where it was like there was this thing where everyone was learning it, and my sister was like, I'm gonna learn cribbage, and like it was very important to my sister, like learn cribbage and become part of the family and like play cribbage with everyone. And I was like, I don't do that. Like it was not a thing.
It was just a thing.
Well, because I think part of it is like my dad and I love my dad, and we have like built a great relationship over the years, but like my dad and I like weren't naturally like immediately like get along, if that makes sense. We had to like learn and grow together. And something I know about my dad and I now is like we can never ever ever be in teacher-student dynamic. He has never successfully taught me anything. Yeah. And there's a pattern in my life of my dad trying to teach me something and me getting so frustrated
that you
like,
quit it forever.
Have we ever talked about me and bikes? Do you know about my thing about bikes?
No. Can you not ride a bike?
No, I can ride a bike now. I like cycle in New York a lot.
Oh,
now.
wow.
But like we lived on a dead end when I lived in Rhode Island. And when it was like for 1 year for like my birthday or something, my dad came home with this like red Huffy bike and was like, you have a bike. Like it's time to like learn how to ride a bike. And I was like sick.
Great.
And we lived on this dead end. And so there was this one day in the summer where I was like, okay, Jake's learning how to ride a bike. And so my dad is trying to teach me how to ride a bike, and every other person on this dead end is like sitting on their porch watching.
Oh,
and I just like keep falling. And my dad, like I said, like his teaching style and my student style is like just absolute like polar opposite. So he's getting mad at me. I'm like, fuck you. I'm trying to learn how to ride a bike. Like we're not. And so I remember like standing up and looking at him being, actually, I never need to know how to ride a bike. And I just like walked inside and I was like, I'm not learning how to ride a bike. Ooh. Same thing with skating. Like same thing with all these things where I was like, I'm not doing it. Like I don't like how you're teaching me. And so then when we moved to Vermont, we ended up living on another dead end road where there were all these kids, and it was this dirt road. And there was like, these were the kids who were like my friend group growing up. And they bike rode everywhere. Like they would bike ride from each person's house. And I didn't want to admit that I didn't know how to ride a bike. So I was like, actually my thing is that I know how to ride a bike, but I really don't like it. I prefer running. So all summer, these kids would be biking from house to house, and me in my Tevas, like, like chasing behind. It was like the first thing I was closeted about before I knew I was gay. It was that like my secret was I didn't know how to ride a bike. And then like one day I finally was like, okay, I have to like learn how to ride a bike, and it was like a whole thing. But now I bike a lot.
Just imagine, it's like Stranger Things and one kid in the background.
No, it's literally that. It's like literally that. It's like the kids like all like this little biker gang on this dirt road in like rural Vermont, and then I'm like, I'm coming! In like a husky t-shirt.
You must have gotten so skinny.
That didn't happen until later.
Oh. That is so funny.
No, I know.
That's how I felt. Well, so you know I don't drive, right?
Yeah.
I have a serious fear of driving, and I really don't have a desire to learn.
I really respect people. I think it is such a green flag. People who are like, I don't like driving. It frightens me because I think it is something. It is
that
like
people do even though they shouldn't be. Yeah,
well, also it just shows that to me like people who are like driving freaks me out. It's like, oh yeah, you have a respect for human life.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I like understand how. To me, a car is not a vehicle. To me, a car is like a giant metal machine of death. And like,
yeah, no, 100%.
You know how like conservatives always make that argument when we talk about gun control? They're like, oh, so should we ban cars too because people die? And I'm sort of like, yeah, also that ban the cars.
I'm sort of like,
I don't
public
like
transit. Let's get some trains going.
I totally agree. Obviously, I don't agree with that argument, but like I'm like really anti-cars, and that's just I've had my experiences with them. But I decided when it was during the pandemic was the first time I was like, I should learn how to drive a car. I tried previously. I actually got a babysitting gig for a family that I'm still very, very close with, 2 families, and I told them at the time I was getting my permit. I was like,
do you have a driver's permit right now?
I don't think so. I was doing the classes
Okay.
and like was on track to drive a car in the next couple of months. I was already 16. So when they hired me, I was like, yeah, I'll be able to drive by then. Like I was like, yeah, I'm driving. I can drive. And then I never got it. So for the entire time that I was babysitting for these kids, I was just putting off taking my driver's test and telling them like, oh, this time I actually Ubered. Yeah, it's fine. No. One time they were like, Talia, could you please drop Leo off at this bar mitzvah? Like you should just throw him in the back of your car. And I was like, yeah, totally. And I like Ubered him to the bar mitzvah on my card. I don't like driving.
I should teach you how to drive.
Many people have tried. It's not like if I always say if we were in LA, for example, you drop dead right now with like an allergic reaction, you could
get in the car and drive.
I could get in the car and drive you. But I can never fathom like a pleasant drive. Like for me, and my mom is the same way. My mom is a person who shouldn't drive, and now that she doesn't have to drive me anywhere, she doesn't drive. Like she really doesn't. That car does not move, and she you can't talk to her when you're driving down a straight road for an hour. She's like, don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Hands like this shaking. Like, that's how I am too. When I was driving with my dad, I was shaking in an empty parking lot and he's telling me like, just make a left turn. I'm like, no. And he was like, maybe you just shouldn't do this. Like, I just can't do it. And I don't know. It's something that like, it's a huge reason I'll probably stay here forever. It's like, I'm trapped here. Like I would love to move to the West Coast eventually. And I kind of can't. Because I just don't want to drive.
If you get rich enough, you'll just have a driver.
That's so ridiculous. Like I hate relying on...
people do that though.
That's a huge thing for me is I hate relying on other people for anything.
No, that's the best part about New York is that there's always an exit strategy. Right. You can always get out. And I think...
when I don't drive in LA, even if I had a driver at all times, like I'm still relying on another person and I don't get privacy.
No, 100%.
And it's just, I don't know. That's why I'm such a big walker. That's why I like don't join a gym is because I've always just walked everywhere.
I walk everywhere. I was just having an interesting conversation with my friend who we often get told we look alike.
Okay. He's Vince Vaughn? You had to be there. That's for the OG fans.
You've been listening since we started 13 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Basically, we were talking...
Keep talking, but I'm just going to go.
We were talking about the fact that we both at times in our life have been referred to by other gay men as bears. Uh-huh. And, like, no matter how our bodies, like, change, we still get called that. And it's like there's something in, like...
It must be, like, something about your personality.
Yeah.
Keep talking. Come on.
Are we using this? Is wow. I think here's a moment where I need to explain that you guys really should be watching, like listen to the podcast so we get the download, but also like know that the show is available on YouTube and there's things happening in the video that you're missing. You're not seeing.
Looking at myself.
I set a personal intention. Just to look at myself less.
That's good for you.
And I was gonna pitch, but I knew you would say no. I was gonna pitch having them turn it off. I knew she would say no. I literally knew I was like, I'm not even gonna ask her, but like, I did have that thought this week.
Are you crazy?
I knew. I said, I love
You're nuts.
Your hair looks great right now.
Thank you. It's called slut strands. The boys always they finally came up with a name for it. Not that I like men using the word slut. But it's when you have two strands hanging down from your forehead. Mm-hmm. And guys like always compliment me when I do it. They always like it. They always like talked about it before there was a name for it. And they were like, I love when girls do that thing. Blah, blah, blah. And now they're called slut strands. I guess it's just a thing. I love doing them. They remind me of Xenon. Remember Xenon?
Don't disrespect me.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Make my heart go boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Zetus Lapidus. Let's play a call.
Zetus Lapidus.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
I've been loving the podcast lately.
Thank you.
I've been going through it these past few months. I just moved from the Midwest to Miami, and it's really crazy down here. I moved into a house that I found online with roommates, and long story short, one of the roommates is a man who basically ended up ruining my life. We got involved, which is obviously a bad decision on my part.
100%.
As well as his. But yeah, he's not a good person. He's a textbook narcissist. He does drugs.
Okay. Well.
And after we started fucking, we agreed not to be exclusive, whatever. But then he started bringing another woman into the house and fucking her. And, long story short, I ended up literally moving out because this man literally just ruined my life. But then silly old me kept seeing him, and trust me, I know how fucking stupid I sound. And
good.
So I kept seeing him and this other woman ended on bad terms, blocked each other on everything, blah, blah, blah. I kept hanging out with him, and then I noticed that they follow each other again on Instagram, which for some stupid reason still really hurt my feelings. And basically, I guess my question is, Talia, you seem to just be such a badass woman who is not able to care about men or what they think of you, or just be able to casually hook up. And I so badly want to do that, but even this horrible person that I know is horrible and I literally don't even like, I still, for some reason, care about what he thinks of me. And I don't know. I just want to learn how to not care and be a cool girl who can have casual hookups. So he is actually blocked on everything now. I blocked him last night and think that was the best decision. But going forward, how do I be the cool girl who can just go with the flow? Thanks, guys.
Well, as the resident cool girl, detached queen, never had a feeling.
Literally.
I'll let you know when I figure it out.
You seem unable to feel emotion or connect with people on a deep level. How do I do that?
That's, for the record, that's so funny that it's how it sounded kind of, but that's absolutely not how I interpreted it.
No, it's
Can I
not.
have a sip of your lemonade, please? That really parched me from how much I gagged.
It's so funny.
That's so funny. Okay.
That's so funny.
I love you. You're my friend. We get along.
No, adore you.
We
Adore
would be
you.
simpatico. Okay.
Absolutely
we have
adore
the
you.
same level of delusion. We're still bad girl bosses who can't believe that we got roped into this situation. I get where you're coming from.
I mean,
absolutely.
she touched on something. She touched on the number one reason you can't fuck a roommate if you're going to have any feeling at all, which is they're gonna bring someone else home.
You live there. He lives there. Like, you're gonna see everything he does that he doesn't want you to see, and he's not gonna.
And even if you're not the jealous type, like, I wouldn't consider myself the jealous type, but if I had fucked my roommate and like had any sort of feelings for them, and then had to listen to them fuck another person, I actually would probably be fine.
Okay, maybe different in a straight relationship. I don't know, or like.
Well, it depends, but it sounds like it. Well, it reminds me of the call from last week or 2 weeks ago, where it was like, we said we're not going to be exclusive. We're going to keep it casual. And it's like, right, but you have feelings.
Yeah, but you have feelings.
Like, this is just generic advice for anyone listening to this podcast, because it's sort of becoming a theme, is like, don't agree to casual if you don't want it. Like, I feel like these are people that are like agreeing to it because the other person wants it, you know?
Yes. Sorry. Maybe we do need to turn this monitor off. I'm like having a day
You
today.
look great.
I know. Like right now, the way I'm doing my hands, I look really cute. But then it's like when I start talking, I'm not happy with it. And
I think we should turn it off. I'm actually very pro turning it off.
Okay, fine.
Love you.
No.
Love you. Truly love you. Thank you.
No.
Yes.
No.
Wow. Wait, the freedom. The monitor is off. We can't see ourselves.
This is objectively gonna be a better podcast. I know that that's like the most annoying thing.
Well, the number of clips where it's like they're talking and we're both just like is so bad. We're like the two vainest people in the world.
Fuck.
Okay.
I can't believe it. Oh.
Okay, if anything's like leaking or sticking out, you need to let us know, because obviously we're not aware of it anymore.
That felt like Dumbledore when he's like, no matter what happens, you can't listen to me, and just do what the fuck is that thing? Remember when Dumbledore is like, feed me the water even when I tell you to stop, and he's like, no, I won't do it. And Harry's like, I have to.
That was truly that moment. Okay, wait, we need to help this girly. We need to help this girly.
This is my friend. Okay, listen. Listen. Have you seen that guy on Instagram?
He's so
funny.
God, I need you to lock in and help this girl.
It's so funny. First of all, I guess this just, wow, I've like officially achieved what I always wanted to achieve in high school, which was cool girl moment who doesn't give a fuck about what guys think about her. I'm so glad that I seem like one of those people. I guess this is just full circle definitive proof for me that I can't keep looking at other girls and thinking that they are the cool girl who doesn't care and has grown out completely of the male gaze and has completely like stopped thinking.
Right, because you know what's like completely not caring at all? Do you know what that is? That's depression. Like,
Yes,
people
thank
go on
you.
meds for that. Like,
Yes.
caring about shit is living.
Yes, having crushes is living.
Yes.
Like wanting to look a certain way and that you don't look is living. That's why I'm like so anti-body positivity movement. There's no one in the world who's like, I'm so happy with my body, I wouldn't change a fucking thing. Then it's like, what are you living for, bitch? You need something to do all day, okay? You need something to aspire to and think about that you're never going to attain. And this for me is a good full circle moment because I look at people all the time. I'm like, I wish I had the outlook that they did on life. And somebody out there, whoever you are, you're looking at me and thinking that I have the answers, which is so cool. I'm so glad I seem that way. But if you knew the crush I've had for the past how long has it been that I had that stupid crush? I was like in love.
Boy?
Oh no, Boat Boy doesn't count. He was a crush. He was just a guy that I sexted. No, it's totally different.
Wait, who are you talking about? Whisper.
No, I can't.
Wait,
okay.
no, I have to know.
No, I'll tell you later.
Wait, I'm losing my... No, we
I
don't
don't know
do
if I
this.
ever told you about this.
Now I need to know.
No.
Wait, Talia, please. It's gonna drive me insane.
You know about that. Okay, no, it's not important.
Is it... Oh.
Yes. I
I'm not
liked a certain
pro
guy
this
for like a
one.
year. Like, and it's just like, you can't, you're gonna get obsessed with people. And I wish that there was an answer. And there's all kinds of different tactics and things that we're gonna explain to you that you can use to stop and get yourself out of this rut. But sometimes it like really is the age old advice of like, you get over that insane crush by moving on and getting a crush on somebody else. And then over and over and over again until you're finally reaching this like weird state of like, oh, I don't care anymore.
Right. But
I certainly care less about what men think of me than I did when I was a person in high school or college having crushes. I've developed a sense of self-love and confidence
that's the thing.
that has helped me get less infatuated. That for you is really genuinely only going to come with age and experience. When you finally look back and realize how much of a loser this guy is and you finally get the ick about him, which it will come. You think it won't, but it will. That's going to help mold you and make you stronger and less able to become like less susceptible to the next guy who's gonna fuck your life up. And then there will be another guy who's gonna come around and drive you into a rut and make you feel like, oh my God, my life is over. But it's gonna be significantly less harmful and last less long than this one.
or maybe,
is.
I mean, maybe you meet your husband soon. Who knows? But
Sure, but then maybe your husband will fuck you over. The whole point
No,
is
totally.
like you can't live for men. You're
Well,
always,
yeah.
but you're always going to get to a point. I hate when people are like, oh, when you start to realize that like your whole mood depends on whether or not a guy texts you back like you're in a bad spot. And it's like, actually, that's human nature. It's an addiction to the dopamine rush that you get when you like someone.
it's-
It will happen at different parts of your life. And the only thing that you can do is fill your life up more and train yourself to keep believing. Like the more experiences you have where you look back on a guy and think like, oh my God, I can't believe the amount of time I wasted on that guy. I can't believe the amount of times I let that guy ruin my mood, change how I felt about myself, whatever. It will be less likely to happen to you so severely the next time. You just need experience to learn.
Well, because it needs. I think the key is that like all of those things can still happen, but they need to exist within parameters. Like,
Right.
Because the thing is, like having a crush on a guy and then or a girl, whoever, like having a crush on someone and having them text you and that like giving you like a big rush. That's so fun. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And getting disappointed when something ends is part of life. The difference is like a guy rejecting you or finding out that a guy is sleeping with someone else, not completely derailing your sense of self-worth to the point of you being feeling like complete shit about yourself, right? Like you're saying he ruined your life. Like it needs to be like he ruined your day. Guys can still ruin your day and that you can be like a healthy, developed individual, but they can't ruin your whole life just by not liking you. That's the thing.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that like she can't change the fact that this happened.
No.
And like it's gonna happen, and then there's gonna be another guy in a year who's gonna make you feel like, oh my God, he ruined my life. And then you have to keep remembering, wait, but remember the last guy?
Yeah.
Remember how I thought he ruined my life? And it was like, oh my God, that's
and
so
also
silly.
find things that you like about yourself so that you can focus on that.
That's what I mean by saying make your life fuller. Like add some hobbies, add some friends, reconnect with friends, reconnect with things that you loved a while ago. Like you need to just distract yourself, but there is no way to like be the cool girl who doesn't care about crushes or men or what men think of her or body image or whatever it's never going to happen. You're always going to be a human being, and thank God for that. You're always going to feel.
Yeah.
You're always going to have people come in and out of your life that make you feel less than for a couple of months or make you feel on top of the world for a couple of weeks or whatever. It's called relationships and fluctuation. The only thing that you can do is like fill up your life, make it so that you're never like depending completely on another person's idea of you and what they think of you.
Totally.
You're never completely reliant on another person's mood, because soon you're going to get the ick about this guy. It'll happen. One day you're going to wake up and you're not going to like him anymore. You're actually going to get disgusted by him. I'm sorry it's not happening yet, but it will soon.
It is so crazy when it does, though.
And one day it will. And you're going to look back and think like, how fucking stupid that I let myself get that engulfed in this. And then the next time there's another guy who walks into your life, you'll be able to have that perspective and think like, oh, I'm a little bit less affected. It still happens to me, but significantly less with a crush than it used to. It only takes crushes and time. It only takes experience. So you're not crazy, but your life also isn't over.
No, you're fine.
You're fine. You're going to laugh about this. I know it's like the most condescending advice ever, but it's the only true advice. Is like, you do move on. You do. You do. Okay.
Next call.
Hi, Talia and Jake. I love you both so much, and I love listening to the pod.
Thank you.
I'm calling in because I need serious dating advice. I've been seeing this guy for like 2 months, kind of casually, and the last time I saw him, he slept over, and I had gone into bed before he came and joined me in bed, and you know, he gets in bed with me, we're like spooning, and he kind of goes to initiate sex. And it's important to note that I hadn't seen his face when he came in to the bed. So we're like having sex in a spooning position, but I hadn't seen his face yet. And I go to change positions, and as I do so, I notice that he has in his AirPods.
I thought it was going to be a different person. Oh, my God.
I kind of asked him, like, what are you doing? And he proceeds to tell me that he is listening to, like, highlights from a soccer game from that day. And we do continue having sex, and he does not take out the AirPods. And I guess my question is this like too big of a red flag to overlook? All of my friends are saying that I can never see this man again, but I'm not convinced. So I would just love y'all's input on if having sex with AirPods on, listening to soccer highlights is a red flag or not. Love you both. Thanks. Bye.
I love you too.
Nothing could have prepared me for that. I am unwell. I am actually unwell. I thought he was going to say like porn or like a sex playlist, and that would still be weird because it's like, why wouldn't you play it for the room so we can both hear it? Soccer highlights.
Are you sure he was listening to them?
That he
or
said,
were the AirPods off?
No, he said, apparently she asked, what are you listening to? And he said, I'm listening to soccer highlights.
And he didn't take them out?
It would
be one thing if he happened to be listening to soccer highlights and you were like rubbing up against him and the dick went in and like the AirPods were still in but just like eventually fell out of his ear. Like he stopped caring.
But that doesn't sound
but
like what that...
He like initiated sex while listening to soccer and didn't stop.
For me, here's the thing. There's nothing like morally wrong with it. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like fucked up. But for me, that would indicate, oh, you think about sex differently than I do. Like, to like have like a secondary activity like that, like that's not exciting or erotic to me. So I'm probably no longer interested in having sex like in that way or like with you.
Yeah.
It would kind of turn me off. I don't think it's like a red flag, like, ew, he's fucked up, you can't have sex with him again. But like, for me, I just wouldn't want to.
Right.
But if you're still into it, go with God, but that's crazy. Do you want to hear a nightmare story that my friend told? It's like within the bounds of safety nightmare.
Yes.
My friend, this happened so long ago. This was like back when I was in college. My friend was having sex.
What was that?
I forgot about this story.
Hocus pocus.
I forgot about this story. My friend was having sex with a guy, and they were doing doggy, so
Yeah.
she like was facing forward.
Yeah.
And she heard his BlackBerry go off. Like she heard his phone go off.
Yeah.
And like as he's fucking her from behind, she like feels him like lean over.
Yeah.
And she's like, as if he's fucking texting while fucking me. And so she turns back to check, and he is reading a text message. However, the more nightmarish thing is that with his other hand, while he is fucking her from
Butthole?
behind, he is eating a granola bar.
Wait a second.
And I remember
Nature
specifically
Valley?
a blueberry granola bar.
Nature Valley?
I mean, those crumbs would actually
Those are
destroy you. That
crumbly.
would be no. She would have heard that. Those are so loud.
She would have felt
No,
it.
it would have been like a soft, like a Nutri-Grain.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
You know what? I think that guy makes more sense than this guy.
I actually agree.
Dare I say.
I actually agree.
I think that having a little snack because it was sitting there and she's not even facing you and it's like, you know what, just real quick. There's something really like luxuriate in sex. And sometimes for some people, I read a whole article. This isn't really my cup of tea, but I read a whole article about people who make their masturbation moments, like they formulate the moment they're gonna
like
masturbate.
the candles and the
food and like chocolate strawberries and whatever. Like they really luxuriate.
I respect
And for
that.
them, it like really enhances the orgasm to like enjoy this moment with ecstasy on both sides of your body, both entrances, should I say? So
It's probably nicer when you kind of come out of an orgasm to
and
be
you have
in
like a snack.
Well, it's probably just nicer to be like in a beautiful candlelit room that smells good instead of like a dark bedroom that you didn't turn the lights
With
on
nature,
in.
with
like that's what I'm saying.
Nature Valley crumbs everywhere. But like I get like the eating during sex, frankly, more than I understand the soccer highlights during sex.
The soccer highlights is a red flag to me. It's
I
just
think,
not
like,
how I would want to have sex.
It doesn't seem like you really like this guy that much. So why don't you just literally approach it as a joke? I'm genuinely curious and I want you to call back in and tell if you'd feel
Please.
comfortable. Literally be like, what was the deal with the soccer highlights? Honestly, just tell me. Like, you don't have to make it like a serious conversation.
Because my guess is that he's like the kind of like, to me, that what that says is that he doesn't like actually like, he's not a particularly sexual person.
Right.
It's just like sex, you do it, and like I'll listen to that. Where it's like if you're actually like having sex, it's like
You want them to care.
there are things to listen to.
Right.
There are sounds.
You're
like, I don't know.
sexy. You're sexier than Ronaldo, maybe not, but Messi for sure.
Oh my god.
Those are my two soccer people that I know.
Nice. Okay.
I'm just kidding, but no, that's the most likely scenario. But the other scenario might be that like he has a weird, like he gets turned on by the soccer things.
Yeah, that's the other
which
thing. If
is
you don't
like
wanna keep
another
doing
thing.
it.
But like honestly, if you're not like obsessed with him and you don't feel like you need to tread that lightly, and you could like live
like,
without
can he only
hooking
come
up
when
with
someone's
him,
like, goal?
why don't you just say like, hey, what was the deal? Like,
Yeah.
just genuinely be curious about it. You need to just let him know that it's like not totally normal.
And if you are gonna date him, you do have to tell him that you told all your friends because
Yeah.
he needs to know that.
Yeah. If you're going to date him, you just need to know why he does it.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a big deal for you. Like, you have to know.
Okay, let's play the last call.
Hi, love the podcast,
Thank
but
you.
let me keep this short. I'd like to keep this anonymous if you want to take my name away. But
We can't even see your name.
basically, I moved to Texas when I got married,
Slay.
and I live with my husband, and like a bunch of his friends live here, and none of my friends do. So I hang out with his friends. The girl that's like been in the group, I tried really hard. I don't really get along with her. It's just like she might be a little young. She's 25, I'm 28. So it's not a huge difference, but she kind of does things like I have allergies, and like she asked me to 2 weeks before a party to like bring my own food, which felt kind of weird to me.
That is weird.
Whenever it's just us two, she kind of just leaves or doesn't try to talk to me. Like we just don't click, but she's not bad. My problem is his other friend in the group just got engaged, and I really connect with this other girl. We can always talk about things. She's like a little older than me. She's really like, she has a lot more life experience, and we vibe on like a lot of the same things. I don't really want to make the other girl feel not included though. So I don't know how to like kind of mull down like how well I connect with the other girl and how well she connects with me. And also like bring the other girl in so she doesn't feel rejected or not part of the group. Any advice would be super helpful. Thank you.
I have a million thoughts.
Go ahead.
I think you're being way too nice. I think she's
Really?
being way too nice. I think she's being way too nice. Clearly this girl, like, I'm sorry, that the bringing your own food thing would piss me off. Like, unless it's like you have 100 allergies and it's like really not safe for you to eat like bulk food.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm sorry, if you have a party 2 weeks out, the text isn't, hey, can you bring your own food? It's like, hey, what are things I could provide that would like you enjoy, or like what's a safe, like whatever. Like, that's just not the text to send.
Right.
So that
Okay.
it sounds like she's not making an effort. I also think that like you're like, if you vibe with someone in a group better and you guys just hang out, I don't think that's excluding the other person. You guys aren't vibing with her? Am I being too harsh? I just don't think that's also.
I don't think you're being too harsh.
Also, if before you showed up, this girl was part of this all guy friends group. She sounds like a guy's girl, and she's probably not like desperate for these female friendships. Like, go be friends with this girl that you like. Like, it'll be normal. If she makes a big stink about it, it's like, then she can put an effort in. She's not putting an effort in to be friends with you guys. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I totally understand what you're saying, and I would agree with you if we got a couple more examples to show and prove that she's not putting in enough effort, but I don't think that the food thing was enough for me to believe that she's not putting in enough effort. What I'm feeling like is this is just a girl who doesn't gel well with you, and yeah, she's not putting forth a ton of effort, but like, it's hard to put forth effort when you're like more shy and you don't feel like you're going to be welcomed in and whatever. I don't think you're being exclusive by any means.
Sure.
And I don't think you have to try and make an insane effort to include. It's so telling about you, good for you, that you feel like you need to include her. I would agree with you. I would feel like you need to at least try. That way you can just eliminate any accusations, frankly, in the future of
invite for like drinks, the three of them,
Yes.
the three of you guys.
Don't invite the guys, do a girls' night, and you and the other girl can talk about it. You guys get each other, you gel really well. Just be like, hey, listen, like, I just feel like we should give her a chance. Maybe after a couple drinks, she'll loosen up and we'll find some common ground. Like, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, just
or
say,
don't
I
even
feel
bring
like we
that
need
up.
to do this.
What if that new girl like opens the other girl up and then suddenly it all works? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you don't know.
I think this is just one of those things where it's like, you've yet to try, but like, maybe it won't be that big of a deal. Once you all just get together, everything will melt kind of away. Like,
the fact that you're being considerate enough to like call and think about this means you're already like in the right. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're
gonna
doing
be
such
fine.
a nice thing, and I don't think that this is enough. Like, I think the food thing is definitely weird and shows maybe a little bit of a lack of manners, but I don't think this girl is like looking for reasons to dislike you. I don't think there's like an issue there. I just think that like I don't know, you just don't get along that well and you haven't found something yet, but you will. And like, maybe this is a really good opportunity for a nice little threesome of girls, like a girl group. So I think you need to just have drinks, the three of you. Make it drinks. If she drinks, make it drinks. That way you can get a little loose. You can get a little bonding going.
Yeah.
And just hang out and talk for a couple hours. Don't go to a movie or anything like that. I really fucking hate when people suggest movies as a date, as a hangout with friends. You can't talk during a movie.
Do like
it's
a happy
not
hour.
good.
Yeah.
So
100%.
you need, and no movie nights at home either. You have to go out, sit down, and talk at a restaurant. And you have to have some drinks there if you all drink, because that is what's going to loosen you up. I really think like being a girl in itself is common ground. Like, you guys being the girls of the girl group, you can talk about the boys. Talk about the boys. You have plenty of people in common. Talk about the engagement situation. Talk about whatever. You're going to find it. You're going to get along. You just need to hang out, the three of you.
Yeah.
I think this is like a non-issue that you're going to have to see.
I totally agree. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was thank you for listening. Okay, here are the action items. Once again, if you want us to play your calls, you have to call us. We're getting so many calls now. It's amazing. And they're all
great.
like, it's so fun doing the episodes now because all the calls are so good. 929-269-4960. We absolutely adore it. Rate and review on Spotify and Apple, for the love of God. Mm-hmm. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And also you can follow us on YouTube. Those are all things you can do. If you want to see more of our faces, whatever. We love you. It's been so fun getting like more and more listeners and callers. It's been great.
I love these people that call in.
It's so fun.
Like,
the calls
I love
are getting
the people
so
that
fun.
Call in. They're cool, and I want to be friends with them.
And
and what
if
was
we
our
get enough
other
people, we'll
thing?
do a live show, and then we'll be meeting people in real life.
Wouldn't that be fun?
It's happening. It's happening. Okay, Gorge. Have a great day. We love you. Bye.